Hello all and welcome back to the IPL YouTube channel. I'm sorry I haven't uploaded in a while, but I wanted to upload some good battles, and this is certainly one of them, as we've got the Toronto Torterras and Bayern Münchlax. Steven versus Kyle. If Steven wins this game, he locks up a spot in the playoffs. Kyle wins this, he cements himself further into the playoffs, and in hopes to get that, and maybe even get that first place bye if he beats Steven. I have not watched this battle yet, so I'm excited to see what goes down in it. I also don't know what happened. Alright, so we see Kyle and the Torterras open up with Garchomp, and Steven's going to open up with the Doniphan. Doniphan obviously has some physical bulk behind it. We don't know what Garchomp could be holding. There's a variety of sets you can run on it. Kyle told me that's why he picked up Garchomp. Rocks on both sides of the field are set. Rapid Spin. The rocks from Kyle's side of the field are taken away. He does get some rough skin damage from the Garchomp. And a Roar. Interesting set definitely from Kyle here. He's got Roar and Stealth Rocks on Garchomp. Doesn't seem that offensive. And in comes Azelf. Azelf, a very versatile Pokemon. Can do a lot of things. And the Dazzling Gleam comes in. 57% loss for the Garchomp. What does Garchomp go for? Garchomp goes for the rocks again to set him up, and it looks like Kyle's in a position where he has to either switch out or let Garchomp go down, and Kyle does elect to switch out and go out into the Alomomola, a pickup that he just made this week in exchange for Trevenant. Azelf goes for the D-Gleam again and does 23%. Azelf taunts it, which is going to do a lot. Alomomola, Pokemon that used to be on the Beartix. Oh, wow. I did not see that coming. As Alomomola goes for the knockoff and knocks off this Azelf's Expert Belt. We can see it's offensive. It does 51%. Another knockoff won't kill it due to the boosted damage from an item being held. Electros is switched in from the Alomomola on Kyle's side of the field. And Azelf is going to go for the Psyshock as it does 43%. A lot of damage being dealt to both sides, but no Pokemon has gone down yet. Electros switches out on Kyle's side of the field. Electros switches out into the Mandibuzz. Very high defenses from the Mandibuzz. Another Psyshock would be immune to the Mandibuzz, which I assume is why he made that switch, and a good switch from Kyle. A Dazzling Gleam, I don't know why he didn't switch out or do something else. That was quite predictable. Metagross would have been my first call, and the Roost coming in 50%, actually, good play. Sorry. Outdid the damage that it was dealt to him. But that rock damage was something that he did not want to take initially. Metagross comes in. Azelf is going to go ahead and go for the Dazzling Gleam, which is resisted. This is a Mega Metagross. That is what Kyle drafted. Steven, of course, is 7-2 going into this game. Kyle's 6-3. Steven really looking the favorite to come out of the Kanto Conference. As a Bullet Punch comes in and knocks out Azelf. A lot of people don't elect to run Bullet Punch because of its very high speed, but Kyle did today, and I guess Steven took the gamble. And it looks like Kyle is up by one Pokemon in here, and the Intimidate coming onto the Metagross. Scrafty gets a variety of abilities. This one has Intimidate. Metagross definitely crippled. Has to switch out. Interesting if you saw Dragon Dance. Knockoff Drain Punch. Scrafty gets a lot. Alomomola coming in. Can take physical hits just fine. A knockoff coming in. We're gonna see it knock off a Rocky Helmet. Yeah. Good combination of Rocky Helmet and defensive Pokemon. Riffraff. Poor Steven is going to switch out into the Sylveon. And two very bulky Pokemon hit the field. Sylveon does have the possibility of being offensive. Scald coming in from the Alomomola, and it's a burn, that 30% chance. We see it so often, doesn't really feel like 30% a lot of the time. Leftovers from Sylveon are revealed. Hyper Voice coming in, 38%. Done on Alomomola. Will he go for a Wish? That would be the best play now. And a Miracle. Oh! The mirror coat from Kyle, a play that we saw from Ryan in week 1 onto myself, and I paid the price for it. We see it again. Beautifully placed mirror coat from Kyle onto Steven, and it looks like Kyle has the momentum in this match to be tied on record in the Kanto Conference, which is going to be huge for Kyle. What a bounce back he's made. You know, he started off pretty weak, just having a forfeit win from Jared in his first 3 or 4 games, and now he's really bouncing back and showing that he can really battle well. And Amanda Bus, which comes in, Steven goes for the lead seed. Good play there. Health is sapped onto the Tangrowth, making up for that rocks damage. Tangrowth switches out into the Weavile, I would maybe guess, or the Donphan. Yeah, Donphan comes in, takes rock damage, not much. It does resist rocks, so it's always nice to have a wall that's not weak to rocks. As Mandibuzz goes for the Roost, Donphan's going to get more lead seed recovery here. 2 very bulky Pokemon. We know that if this Donphan's offensive, it does get access to that Ice Shard, which, you know, has priority, but in this case it's more about the damage, the super effective damage. As a Lumberry is knocked off, that makes me think that this is offensive, because it does want to avoid those Will-O-Wisps, and Play Rough coming on. To be honest, I did not even know that Donphan had access to that move. We see Rocky Helmet damage onto the Donphan, and Leech Seed damage. Excuse me, Leech Seed recovery for Donphan. Defog coming in, rocks removed from both sides of the field, as we're going to see Mandibuzz go down here to a Play Rough. And an EQ! Steven overpredicted and went for an EQ. Metagross does resist that Fairy typing, and, you know, it does make sense to go into that, and Earthquake, and it would get a kill off, but, you know, it just wasn't the right play this time. I assumed he would let Mandibuzz go down, but I wasn't sure, and yeah. Doesn't matter. I don't know if it matters too much, because that Donphan is still hanging around in a good amount of HP, but yeah, it's 70%. But Riffraff's going to come in and is going to knock off the Assault Vest, so somewhat bulky, Scrafty, at least on the special side for Steven here. Drain Punch coming in, it's a crit, 30% damage. Of course, it gets that recovery, and then almost negated with the Rocky Helmet. Roost coming in 50% from 14 to 64% health for the Mandibuzz. See what Scrafty's going to go for. Here goes the Drain Punch. Another crit! Wow! And Mandibuzz is going to go down. That crit was pretty big for this Mandibuzz to go down. Yeah, it's going to go down from the Leech Seed damage. And Scrafty's going to get a little bit of health up. And it looks like a game again, as Steven is losing only narrowly, though, by 1 Pokemon, as he has 4 and Kyle has 5. Kyle sends out the Garchomp. Mid-season pickup, proving to be successful, notably against Nihal, where he absolutely wrecked Nihal with Garchomp in that game. And the Milwaukee Mewers. Stealth Rocks being laid again onto Steven's side of the field. Steven does still have the capability to lay his own rocks, of course, coming in on this Donphan. As that's what I'm going to guess he's going to go for here. Oh, or the Ice. Wow. If Steven had Ice Shard here, that's completely different. But, you know what, maybe he already didn't reveal that he had Ice Shard somehow, or something, and Kyle knew enough information that he didn't have Ice Shard. But, either way, I feel like Ice Shard for Steven would apply a lot more pressure, since Garchomp's going to outspeed. And we see a Play Rough onto the Garchomp, which is going to make it faint, but Donphan is going to go down to the toxic damage. Yes. And Kyle has 4 Pokemon right now, as Steven has 3. Still yet to see that Weavile. Weavile's common variant is Focus Sash, but I doubt that's going to come to play with these rocks up. There's no really way to get rid of them for Steven now. His Rapid Spinner is dead. Uxie coming in, And so is the Scrafty. Scrafty intimidates Uxie. Uxie lays a Thunder Wave onto the Scrafty. Knockoff would be super effective here, but he's fully paralyzed. A little bit of hacks from both sides in this game. Uxie switches out. Alamomola does make sense here if it's at high enough health, but Electros comes in, and how much is a Drain Punch or a Knockoff going to do here? Both stab moves. A Drain Punch does 40% almost, getting rid of the Electros. Electros does have the opportunity to Drain Punch, I believe, which it would outspeed. Oh. Yep, special variant of Electros, which isn't going to do that much. It's going to do 32% as Scrafty's paralyzed, so I would say the hacks are even so far. Maybe a little bit more towards Kyle's side. Thunderbolt does even more damage, and Scrafty's down to 38 as Electros is going to go down here. Unless, oh wow, Steven's been fully paralyzed 3 turns in a row, I believe. Wow. And Electros, is it going to go down finally here? Yes, it is. As Scrafty's going to gain minimal HP with that Drain Punch, half of it. It's going to go up to 11%. Electros goes down, and it's a tie game in terms of the amount of Pokemon from each side of the field. Scrafty sitting here paralyzed. We know it's somewhat bulky with that Assault Vest being knocked off. It could be speed invested, but if it is, then kind of pointless now with the paralysis. Alamomola used Wish. I believe that's the first time we've seen Wish from Alamomola. Can easily go for Protect on this next turn, but it will live any hit that Scrafty does on it, barring the crit, I believe. Scald comes on to Scrafty, no chance to burn. Already has a paralysis. Drain Punch coming on to the Alamomola, and it does 22%. Wish comes true as Kyle's Alamomola goes back up to 63%. So obviously a lot of pressure being applied from Alamomola. A lot of safe switch-ins against this mainly physically offensive Bayern Münchlax side. So, you know, an important pickup and a smart pickup from Kyle this week. Kyle ends up switching out from Alamomola into the Mega Metagross as Scrafty elects to go for the Drain Punch. Knockoff would be super effective, but hard switch to predict there. Oh, a Hammer Arm. It's a super effective fighting type move, and it misses as Scrafty goes for the knockoff. Oh, wow. I'm done. I keep on saying things that I think are going to happen, but oh my god, there's too much hacks in this game. Steven switches out Riff Raff, and we're going to see the Tangrowth come out. Very bulky Pokemon. As Hammer Arm comes through. I don't know if Hammer Arms makes your speed fall every time, if there's a chance for that to happen, but Mega Metagross's speed did fall as Kyle elects to switch out into the Uxie. And Lead Seed would be my guess here. Or switch out from Tangrowth. Either one of these Pokemon Steven's going to have the advantage on. But an intimidated Uxie faces off against a paralyzed Scrafty. As a knockoff comes in, I believe Scrafty's item has already been knocked off there. Yeah, it has. As Scrafty comes in for the Drain Punch, resisted. Yeah, I don't understand that. I don't understand why he didn't use knockoff, Steven. Because it would be super effective against Uxie. You could pick the switch on the Metagross, and I still feel like it'd be the... I don't know what... Yeah, I don't know why I didn't do that exactly. Alright, Steven switches out from the Scrafty into... Sorry, I'm moving this around a lot. Into the Tangrowth, as we'll see what Metagross goes for. It does have access to Ice Punch if it's somehow Hammer Arm. And the Rocky Helmet damage does Metagross in as it goes down, as it's 2-on-3, and it looks like Steven has the momentum and is going to run away with this game, especially with 2 offensive Mons like he does. and kind of death fodder if he needs to. Yeah, Kyle doesn't really have any hard-hitting mons anymore. Knockoff comes in. Tangrowth has the type advantage here if it has any attacking moves, such as Power Whip or Seed Bomb or anything, easily knock it out. But no, we're going to see a slow death, I believe, from Alamola as it gets toxic. 39 turn battle so far. Still sense a lot of turns coming up, so quite the long battle. Tangrowth is going to switch out from Bayern Münchlax into the Scrafty. As we see the Intimidate on him, Alamola doesn't really matter. So, yeah, the way I'm playing this out in my head, it looks like Steven's got it. So Steven's going to move to 8-2, and he's going to secure a playoff spot. So congratulations, or I shouldn't say that yet, but it would be congratulations to Steven because, yeah, he'd be making the first ever IPL playoffs, and that's exciting. I'm excited to commentate over every single playoff game, which I said I'm going to do. I'm also not done with matches this week, I don't think, but keep watching or subscribe to this channel if you want to see more of these, because I want to do at least a battle a week from here on out. And in the playoffs, I want to do every single battle, and I've just been busy, and I don't think I have time for all 5 battles, especially when they're unpredictable and people are battling on Mondays and Tuesdays, and it's just different days. It's not like I'm just sitting down on Saturday and getting them all done. So yeah, we're gonna see Uxie probably go down here. Okay. Okay, so I guess Steven doesn't have knockoff or any dark type stab. Yeah, that's what I got out of this, because it just seemed like there's some times where I would have knockoffed, unless he's just hitting. Yeah, I don't think he has knockoff. I don't know what he was running. We didn't really see much many other moves from Scrafty. I don't really recall anything else. But anyways, it looks like Steven's gonna pick up the 3-0 win here. No, yeah. Okay, there we go. Knockoff, critical hit. He would have killed it anyway with the knockoff, regardless of the crit. But it did end off. It was a Haxie ending to a Haxie match. Congratulations to Steven for making the IPL playoffs. Kyle, hang in there. You're still close to making yourself get into the playoffs. And I'll see you guys for another battle. Stay tuned for more videos, and